Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I don't know, Cantor David, did you come back?
We did not come back. Can you hear me?
Yes, Cantor David had to go on an urgent potty run, not of his own.
There we are.
He was called away from the computer on very important daddy business just as we were starting the service. So I want to say Shabbat Shalom to everybody, and perhaps we can take a moment to greet each other. Gordon, would you put us into breakout rooms so everybody can say hello as Cantor David is finishing his daddy responsibilities, and then he'll join us for our opening meeting.
Absolutely. And
Beautiful. Cantor David, are you back with us? Okay.
I am.
He'll join us. Okay. Would you like to sing us into the beginning of Shabbat?
Sure. Hold on.
As you all know, sadly, I can't even barely say it. This is Cantor David's last Shabbat with us. And so tonight, as we think through, sing through, have an opportunity to really just listen to the beautiful music that David and Jonathan and so many others have brought us over these last few years. We just have a kind of a special need to remember what this sounds like so that we'll be able to bring this with us into the coming weeks, even though David won't be here. He's our newest member of Congregation Sherith Israel. And
That's right.
Hopefully come back and be with us on Zoom and be with us in person. So on this bittersweet Shabbat, we begin with some music to welcome us all into a peaceful, restful moment in an otherwise not so peaceful week.
Beautiful. All right. La 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 la
I'm Rabbi Jessica Graf. If you don't yet know Cantor David Frommer, too late, don't bother. Rabbi Abby Phelps is with us. And Jonathan Dimmock, who's awesome. I see you laughing over there. Hi, Jonathan. And Gordon Gladstone, our executive director. Peter Bonos, who makes all these awesome, makes all these awesome online things work. And I don't know if we have other staff members on here as well, but we have a pretty awesome staff, including, I didn't forget you, Rabbi Abby Phelps, who will introduce our candle lighters.
I will indeed. So this is an exciting Shabbat for the Linder family. Gabe Linder is about to become bar mitzvah formally. He's going to be called to the Torah tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock. You are most welcome to join us if you're available. We'll have a little mincha, we'll have a little havdalah, we'll get to hear him read Torah. It's going to be great. and I know it's going to be great because I've read the Devar Torah, so I know it's good. And I would love at this time to invite the Linders to lead us in lighting candles. So I believe, there we go. There's Chris and Dan and Gabe. And I don't know if Noah's there somewhere, but if he's not, then we say hello. There he is. Spectacular. Okay. So I'll leave it to you guys. Go ahead. And is there anything you want us to know about your candles or your candlesticks before you light them?
Honey, can you?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
All right.
Would you guys like to sing the blessing, or would you like the cantor to go ahead and do that?
Oh, we could do that.
Great.
Wonderful.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Beautiful.
All right. Well, you guys get to relax for now. We'll come back to you a little bit later for Kiddush and Motzi. But in the meantime, we're going to continue our service with L'chun Ranana. We're going to sing some psalms of praise to God in honor of Shabbat.
Okay. Let's see. But first, to do that, we have to share some slides and we have to share some sound. All right.
We'll give Cantor Frommer a minute to set those things up as we prepare our kavanah, our intention for this Shabbat.
Okay. Here we go. Let's see if we can get the presentation mode there. Okay.
Beautiful.
All right.
L'chun Ranana l'Adonai Nariah letzor Yishenu nekadma fanav betodah bizmirot nariah lo yalla la la la.
Whoops. Sorry.
David, you okay there?
That. Yes, we just ran into a small hiccup, as it always seems we do. Let's see if we can get back there.
Rewind the record player.
Is it full screen? Yes. Okay, great.
No
We continue these stirring songs of praise for Shabbat with Lecha Dodi, our song of praise to the Sabbath embodied as a human being whom we welcome and embrace into our midst. Please join us in Lecha Dodi.
לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם תפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. בראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Now that we have welcomed Shabbat, we invite you to rise as we join together as one prayer community for the Baruch. Now we can take a moment to prepare ourselves for the Shema, such a critical prayer right now, a prayer in which we remind ourselves of God's oneness and of the work that we have to do to make God one and to make ourselves one as people in the world. And that part of that work is about listening. Shema Yisrael, listen Israel. We must listen to one another to the best of our ability at all times and especially now. Please join us in the Shema.
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ad.
We continue now with Mi Chamocha, the song of freedom we once sang as we stood at the shores of the Sea of Reeds. We recall as well the work that we must do to ensure freedom for all human beings, all those created in the image of God, B'Tselem Elohim. Please join us in Mi Chamocha.
Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh nora tehilot osef ele malchutecha ra'uvanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam zeh Eli anu ve'ameru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la
Now we give thanks for the shelter of peace, the sukkah of shalom that we all get to experience over our heads with Hashkivenu, our prayer thanking God for bringing us shelter and peace.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chayim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha.
Now we invite you once more to rise as able so that we may join together in the central prayer of our service, the Amidah, beginning with Adonai Sefatai Tiftach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu ve'imoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim ve'koneh hakol וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה, ברוך אתה אדוני, Ha'el HaKadosh. We're going to continue now silently with the rest of the Amidah while we listen to some contemplative music from Jonathan. Afterwards, we'll come back with Shalom Rav and Oseh Shalom with a new arrangement that we've not sung here at Sherith Israel, but I've always thought it very beautiful, and it seemed like a nice thing to go out on our final Shabbat together.
אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
Shabbat Shalom. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Great. Okay, perfect. It has been another dizzying week of outrage, soul-searching, fear, and hope. Yesterday, feeling overwhelmed by the intensity of it all, I decided I needed a break. I wasn't proud of this, mind you, since taking a break from conflict is a privilege not all of us enjoy, but I convinced myself this was more self-care than cowardice, turned off my podcasts, closed out my news apps, and opened up this week's Torah portion, Beha'alotcha. I wanted to feel spiritually uplifted, rather than burdened by headlines of public protest, unnecessary force, racial prejudice, power imbalance, and contagious disease. Well, you can imagine how that turned out. Beha'alotcha is perhaps the only parsha in the entire Torah that discusses public protest, unnecessary force, racial prejudice, power imbalance, and contagious disease. Now, if you want to study these extraordinary similarities between our ancient parsha and current events, I invite you to join me at Torah study tomorrow morning. Suffice it to say, when I first discovered these similarities yesterday, they swiftly terminated my self-care, break-time fantasy with a simple message. White skin may proffer avoidance, but Jewish values demand engagement. The question is, of course, what should that engagement look like? Does this moment demand vocal Jewish support for African Americans? Or does that support ring hollow after so much professed solidarity in the past has produced such little change? If Jewish voices are to be heard Is it most appropriate for them to be from African American Jews or from white American Jews as well? If white American Jews are to contribute to the conversation, is our place to merely offer benign and generalized support from the sidelines? Or are we meant to wade into the complex conversations within the African American community? Like whether, as an example, Harry Belafonte was justified in calling Colin Powell and Condoleezza Rice the House Negroes of the Bush administration. Should the stories of how white American Jews are navigating these issues even be part of the conversation at all? Or do their stories simply divert airtime from African American voices who have been unheard for so long? These are enormously complicated questions that obviously cannot be answered in this sermon, not so much from my lack of time as from my lack of brain power. But just because we can't answer the questions doesn't mean we can't seriously engage with them. And the great sage, Rabbi Hillel, gives us a blueprint for how to do so with humility and respect. Do not judge your neighbor until you have reached their place, Hillel teaches, and do not separate yourself from the community. Hillel's lesson is instructive for navigating the questions we just asked. Those of us who are white cannot presume to understand how the world feels for African Americans, just as those of us who live comfortably cannot presume to know the pressures of poverty or hardship. First-hand experiences, whether through our work or our relationships, can help inform our understanding, but even then, we must always acknowledge a gap in lived reality. And yet, Hillel argues, perhaps controversially, that the inability to ever fully know what someone else is experiencing does not justify our silence, even when that silence is well-intentioned. Do not separate yourself from the community. Everyone's voice is vital to improving our world, regardless of their color or social standing. The precise formula of how and when to speak from a position of privilege, however, Hillel leaves for us to discern. Judaism perhaps gained its stature as the foundation for Western ethical practice on the basis of the Torah's stirring calls to judge people without prejudice. Many of its most famous commandments on this subject form the bedrock of our Reformed Jewish faith. Do not favor the poor or show deference to the rich. Judge your neighbor fairly, we are taught in the book of Leviticus. But though the Torah is outspoken against the practice of overt prejudice, it offers relatively little wisdom on implicit bias, which, as we are all learning, is a far more widespread and pernicious challenge to our vision of racial equality in our society. Now, until 2 years ago, I really thought I had no implicit bias when it came to race. To be clear, I would never have said that I understood everything about the African American experience, but I did actually believe that I could process the information I received about their experience in an unbiased way. That changed 2 years ago when I went to see a movie called Green Book. The movie is based on the true story of an African American pianist, Don Shirley, who hires an Italian-American bouncer, Frank Vallelonga, to serve as his driver and bodyguard during a concert tour through the Deep South in 1962. At the beginning of the story, Vallelonga is deeply prejudiced against African Americans. When two such workmen come to his home to repair the floor, Vallelonga's wife offers them a drink. And after they leave, Vallelonga drops the glasses they used in the trash. Over the course of the story, however, Vallelonga's bigotry dissolves into empathy as he and Shirley share various adventures together, helping each other out of trouble. By the movie's end, they have become genuine friends, with Vallelonga welcoming Shirley into his home to enjoy Christmas dinner with his family. The movie seemed to offer an inspiring example of how personal relationships can overcome the prejudicial tendencies caused by ignorance. I loved it. African American movie critics, on the other hand, did not. They lambasted the movie for offering a dangerously oversimplified portrayal of racism and its remedies. A, quote, racial reconciliation fantasy, in the words of New York Times critic Wesley Morris, who also noted that the movie's entire creative team, 5 producers, 3 writers, and 1 director, were all white men. Melanie McFarland of Salon magazine lamented that Green Book, quote, transforms racism into something terrible happening to other people, instead of an ever-present structure in America from which people either specifically or unwittingly benefit. The movie, according to McFarland, allowed white audiences to create, quotes, a separation between their own sense of righteousness and racism. These assessments clashed profoundly with how I had interpreted the movie, and I initially dismissed them as incomprehensibly negative. Why couldn't these African American critics just appreciate an uplifting story of a white person realizing the error of his bigoted ways? Why did they have to judge it against the backdrop of institutionalized racism throughout all of American history? Eventually, though, after reading like the 12th such review, I admitted that perhaps implicit bias might be hijacking my response. And I sought to test this possibility with a movie that exactly paralleled Green Book, but with Jewish oppression at its core instead. The movie I selected was called The Reader, which starred Kate Winslet as Hannah Schmitz, an illiterate former Nazi prison guard living in post-war Germany. Even though she was complicit in the ghastly murder of 300 Jewish prisoners, she hides her illiteracy at her eventual trial and falsely confesses to writing the order for the crime, which of course she could not have done, allowing other Nazis to escape with lighter sentences. While in prison, she teaches herself to read and is overwhelmed by the written testimony of a death camp survivor. Like Green Book's all-white creative team meditating on racial reconciliation, The Reader featured an all non-Jewish creative team meditating on Holocaust redemption. Reviews of this movie were separated along predictable fault lines. Non-Jewish critics praised the movie as equal parts simplicity and nuance, restraint and emotion, and it received 5 nominations for Academy Awards. Jewish critics, on the other hand, were outraged. The Simon Wiesenthal Center denounced the movie's premise that Schmitz's greatest shame in life was not her participation in the Holocaust, but the fact that she never learned to read. Holocaust historian Ron Rosenbaum, writing for Slate magazine, derided the movie as, quote, a heartwarming fable about the wonders of literacy and its ability to improve the life of an Auschwitz mass murderer. This is a film whose essential metaphorical thrust is to exculpate Nazi-era Germans from knowing complicity in the final solution. Reading these Jewish reviews and observing my passionate agreement with them, I belatedly came to realize just how powerful implicit bias can be. When a movie sought to focus on a former Nazi's personal growth, instead of on historic and persistent anti-Semitism, I was horrified. But when a movie sought to focus on a white bigot's personal growth, instead of on historic and persistent racial injustice, I thought this was a great idea. I cannot overstate how upsetting this revelation was 2 years ago and how it continues to trouble me today. I am not the fair, balanced, reasoned judge of people that I thought I was. My judgments are in fact influenced by forces that escape my fundamental awareness. If that's how implicit bias affects my judgment of African American movie critics as a cantor, how might it affect my judgment of African American citizens as a policeman? I think for all of us, the immediate reaction to watching George Floyd's death on video was to insulate ourselves from the possibility that any of us would ever succumb to whatever thought process motivated Derek Chauvin as he murdered him. We would hastily assure ourselves that we are nothing like him. But let us take care. Humans and rats look nothing alike, yet we share 85% of the same DNA. The line between all of us in here within our community and the worst offenders of racial crimes out there is probably a lot thinner than any of us would like to believe. If so, then, how do we move forward? Does the concept of implicit bias invalidate Hillel's charge to speak up in our communities for what we believe, since those beliefs are clearly compromised in ways we don't necessarily understand? Hardly. Judaism has always believed that awareness of our imperfection only makes us stronger. The book of Proverbs teaches us that fear of God is the beginning of wisdom, or as we might better understand it, recognizing both our shortcomings and our potential is how we become a force for positive change in the world. The more we learn, the more we realize just how wide the gaps are, both the gap between white and African American experiences in daily life, and the gap between the white self-perception of conscious understanding and the reality of unconscious distortion. We've got our work cut out for us, but thankfully, Judaism equips us not only with the obligation and the guilt, but also the values to see the work through. Do not judge your neighbor until you have reached their place. Do not separate yourself from the community. Recognize your own imperfection and potential. Let us be guided then by appreciation, by activism, and by awareness as we heed the call of this sacred moment and join together to build a just and equitable society for all. Though I'm sad to be leaving Sherith Israel after this weekend, I'm excited to partner in the same work from afar, and you can consider me available to help you in any way I can, starting, hopefully, with an unbiased recommendation for a good movie. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Yasher Koach. Thank you so much.
Yasher Koach, indeed. Thank you for giving us those incredible words. I wish that we could have more of them going forward, and I hope perhaps at some point we will, but thank you so much for sharing them with us now. When we come together for services, we also have the opportunity to come together to wish healing for those whom we know are suffering in our community, those who are in need of healing of mind, body, and spirit. We use the prayer Misha Berach to wish speedy healing for them. And as we prepare to sing Misha Berach together, we think particularly this evening of Dr. Elliot Eisenberg and William Kurian, to whom we wish full healing of body, mind, and spirit. And of course, all those whom you name now in your homes and in your hearts. We will sing Misha Berach together, and during the pause in the middle, please feel free to state the names of anyone whom you are thinking of tonight for healing. Please join us in Misha Berach.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
There are so many things to be grateful for, even in a world that feels complicated and broken at this moment. And I'm especially grateful for the privilege of being part of this community that has brought David to us, for David for being with us for these 4 wonderful years, and for all of the exciting things that lie ahead as we go forward to stand on the work that you have done. So in honor of everything that you have brought to us in this moment of transition, which always feels challenging but exciting also, as we enter into the unknown, we thank God for giving us life and sustaining us, enabling us to reach this time.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyemanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. On this Shabbat, we remember for Shiva or Shloshim, the first 7 or 30 days of mourning, the following people. If you are observing Shiva or Shloshim, please stand in your own home and share a name out loud as well. We remember Henrietta Michal Abir, Karen Richardson, and Sydney Shear. The perpetual memorials in our community are Sydney Black, Charles Einbund, Mildred Molly Einbund, Ethel Goldberg, Janet Lewis, and Art Rosenberg. If you are observing the first year of mourning for a loved one, please share a name. If you're observing a yard site, please stand and share a name also. The yard sites on this Shabbat in our community are Michelle Allen, who was in my Sunday school class, Sarah Block, Nancy Borkin, Eugene Borokovich, Nathan Brisker, Bernard Carmen, Paul Cutler, Abraham Erdberg, Leslie Fischella, Harold Geist, George Glassell, Selma Glassell, Bernard Jaffe, Alfred Karp, Dale Katz, Morris Leader, Suzanne Rosenberg, Leonard Schneitzer, Elliot Sobel, Esfir Sokolovskaya, David Sucherman, and Peter Wunsch. May the memory of all of those who continue to inspire us be a blessing. Words of Kaddish Yatom are to be shared together by us as one community, as we thank God for those lives. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich machutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'bizman kariv imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam amei maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha brichu, Ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru, amen. May the source of peace send peace to those who mourn and comfort to those who are bereaved among us and throughout the world. And we say together, amen. Just a few announcements tonight before we have Gabe lead us in Kiddush. I want to say a huge mazel tov to the Linder family. And a thank you in rather an odd way for bringing us into the 21st century as our first Zoom B-mitzvah. We will never forget, and hopefully we will get all of the pieces to work tomorrow so that we will be able to celebrate with you from a distance and yet up close everyone is invited to share in our afternoon service as Gabe is called to the Torah at 4 o'clock tomorrow. The Zoom link is available on the message that went out this morning or on our website. And as Rabbi Abby said, we will conclude with Havdalah for the entire community. So please join us if you are available. Tomorrow morning, Cantor David will lead Torah study. And on Sunday morning, Cantor David will lead music for the last studio religious school class of his tenure at Sherith Israel. So please join us for all of those things. As well, I want to announce a really wonderful, exciting program that we're going to have this coming Wednesday evening from 5 to 6 on Zoom. Please mark your calendars. As I've said before, I know you don't have dinner reservations, so please plan to be with us. Wanda Holland Green and Robert Green, who are two nationally renowned educators and leaders in the process of educating children about anti-racism and cultural competence and inclusivity, who have been out there for 3 decades making changes across the educational landscape, and particularly for young children and families. This program is not specifically for children at all. It's about their experience in the world and all of their leadership and education. We are so lucky to be able to have both of them come. They both work in different ways in the educational realm on these issues, which right now the entire world is talking about. So this will be a beginning of Congregation Sherith Israel's response to what's happening in the world. The Social Action Committee is planning many things, many kinds of action, ways for us to educate ourselves and go out in the world and make change. You'll hear more about this in the coming week and weeks. And I will announce that on the last Friday night of June, we have a special social action-led Shabbat. And you'll hear a lot more about this between now and then. But please join us for a kickoff of Congregation Sherith Israel's meaningful engagement with a conversation of the racial injustice that we see in our society around us, with 2 national leaders, Wanda and Robert, who will be with us on Wednesday at 5 o'clock. The link will be sent out again, but the preliminary version of this was in this morning's email. You'll hear more about it. Do we have any other announcements, Rabbi Abby?
No, I think you covered everything.
Cantor David, do you want to tell us one last time to take the things out of the prayer book?
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Right. If you didn't see any stickers in your prayer book, you know, Nia hasn't been doing much lately, so
Please separate the leaflets.
Yeah, right. Please separate the leaflets. That's right. Thank you so much for everyone, in case you won't be with us tomorrow for any of our events, for making my time at Sherith Israel so incredible and unforgettable. And I'll miss you all, but I look forward to seeing you, on a visit to New York, or perhaps, at the first sign of snow on the East Coast, when I come running back here to apply for the position of Cantor Glazer's administrative assistant.
That'll be awesome. I'll leave some cilantro on the side of my plate.
Yes, perfect.
We'll look forward to having you back. And it's awesome that you're leaving, because we have so many people on the service tonight. So that is really great.
Yeah, exactly.
So without further ado, Gabe and family, I think you must have at least 1 Kiddush Cup. There you go.
Yeah.
Lift that puppy up.
So the candlesticks were uneventful, but this Kiddush Cup is just the opposite. This belonged to my great-grandfather, putting it, I don't know if you could see it. Here it is.
Yeah,
Sorry.
there you go.
All right. It has its own little coaster, I guess. Okay. And belonged to my great-grandfather on my mom's side. So it puts this item at over 150 years old. Okay.
All right. Amen. L'chaim. And do you have a challah to show us?
Yes, we do.
All right.
Okay, do you want to hold it up there? Oh, yeah, that's good.
Ooh,
Okay.
a beautiful challah.
Baked by Chris this afternoon.
Okay, you got it? Okay. All right.
Yeah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Amen. B'te'avon. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Beautiful
shalom.
job, Chris. I'm coming to you for a Friday morning Zoom lesson because I
Right.
have not gotten this down yet, but we're good.
I think you're better than you're admitting.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see
At least,
what Barbie
I was
says
just
about
gonna
her
say,
holiday.
yeah. At least for Barbie challahs. Let's say. Nobody makes a better challah for Barbie.
Yeah, they're plenty good for Barbie.
All right. Well, we will conclude, if there are no further announcements, with Ein Keloheinu. Once I get all the music and the slides lined up in about half an hour. Hold on one sec. Let's see if we can do that here. Hold on one sec. Because we also have to, okay.
Ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu, non como nuestro Dios, non como nuestro Señor, non como nuestro Rey, non como nuestro Salvador. Mi Eloheinu, mi Adonenu, mi Malkeinu, mi Moshienu, quien como nuestro Dios, quien como nuestro Señor, quien como nuestro Rey, quien como nuestro Salvador. No del Eloheinu, no del Adonenu, no del Malkeinu, no del Moshienu, lo haremos nuestro Dios, lo haremos nuestro Señor, lo haremos nuestro Rey, lo haremos nuestro Salvador. Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, bendito nuestro Dios, bendito nuestro Señor, bendito nuestro Rey, bendito nuestro Salvador. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, tú sos nuestro Dios, tú sos nuestro Señor, tú sos nuestro Rey, tú sos nuestro Salvador. La 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 la
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.